Now let's identify the double entry for credit purchases and purchases returns. The double entry for credit purchases would be purchases account debit, whereas the trade payables account you would credit it. Whereas for purchases returns, you know purchases returns has a credit balance. Therefore, trade payables account debit, whereas purchases returns account credit. Now we have the purchases returns day book as well as we have the purchases day book. Now let's see how to post information from purchases day book to the ledgers. Remember, as per the double entry, purchases total balance would be debited to the purchases account, whereas the individual figures will be credited to the TP account. Now let's move into the purchases account. Since it says debit, you enter it on the debit side as at 31st 507 as total TP. Now let's balance off the account. Balance carried down as at 31st 507. We are preparing this for a month. Therefore 1607 as balance brought down 990. Now let's transfer the individual figures. Lemon trade payable 810. Always remember to take the net value, that is after the deduction of trade discount. So for lemon trade payable 810 and it should be entered on the credit side. So go to lemon trade payable account on the credit side and you enter 810 as at 15507 credit purchases. Whereas for Apple trade payable you would transfer the net value of 180. Therefore you go to Apple trade payable 180. That was on 25th of 507 as credit purchases. We cannot balance the trade payable account until we post entries of the purchases returns. So purchases returns, as we identified the double entry, trade payables debit, purchases returns credit. This 90 should be debited in the trade payable account. This 135 should be debited in the trade payable account, whereas this 225 should be credited in the purchases returns account. So let's transfer the total of purchases returns on the credit side as 225, and the date would be at the end of month, which is 31st 507 as balance as total trade payable. Whereas the individual figures need to be debited in the TP accounts. Therefore for lemon on the debit side you would enter the net value of 90 as at 15507 as purchases returns. Whereas for Apple you would transfer this 135 on the debit side as purchases returns on 25th 507. Now let's balance the purchases returns account. 225, 225, 225, balance carried down as the 31st 507 and then as at 1607 as balance brought down 225. Whereas to balance the lemon trade payable account, you can see that the credit side is greater, 810. Now from 810 you need to take away 90. Now let's balance off. You get the difference of 720 as balance carried down, 31st of 507, 16 of 07 as balance brought down, 720. Now let's balance off. 180 greater number side, 180 take away 135 gives you 45, as balance carried down 31st 507, and then bring it down as 1607, balance brought down.